One's ready. Go!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. You're in the team room, just me today, rolling solo. Excuse the voice. I am definitely suffering through whatever man cold or whatever you want to call it. So trying to get my voice back. Anyway, you know what I used to do that? I used drinkhoist.com for some of that IV level hydration using the promo code One's Ready. Don't have to use the promo code if you don't want to, though, because if you don't want to wait on shipping or anything like that, you can go to HEB, Safeway, Commissary, anything like that. But they don't know that we sent you. So if you're looking for IV level hydration that has none of the food colorings or any of the dyes or anything like that, comes in ready to drink packet or ready to drink bottles or in packets that make it easier for traveling, head over to drinkhoist.com, use the promo code One's Ready. That way they know that we sent you. So this will be a quick hitter just because I want to get some of the information out because the new selective retention bonus listing just came out and it is now active. And I think that impacts a lot of you, or at least you can start thinking about it because maybe you didn't even know that it existed. So, what the selective retention bonus is basically the Air Force's way of kind of, well, it's designed to incentivize people who are already serving and have already got, you know, requisite skills in their specific career field to get them to stay in and incentivize them to stay in. So this is just one of the ways that they do that. And so the new listing for 2025, and I get it, it's 2024 right now, but it's at the end of it. It's already effective immediately. So um, excuse me, and I'll show it to you here in a second. The actual kind of screen grab of the document. In fact, I'll actually do that now. That way, you can kind of follow along as we're looking at it. So let's see here. There we go. All right. So what you're kind of looking at right now is you'll see the Air Force Specialty Code or your AFSC. And if we're going to focus on kind of more the Air Force Special Warfare, if you go down to about the middle of the page and you go to 1Z1X1, 1Z2X1, 1Z3, 1Z4, and you can see that if you go into column 3 or column C, you'll see what each of those jobs actually are. 1Z1 is a PJ, 1Z2 is a CCT, 1Z3 is a TAC-P, and 1Z4 is a Special Reconnaissance. Then if you go farther to the right, you're going to see a zone A, B, C, and E. I don't know why there's no D, but whatever. And then you'll see a number associated with that. So in zone A, for all of the... Man, sorry about that. Really sorry about that. In zone A, you'll see there's a 7 for each of them. And in zone B, there's also a 7 for each. Then in zone C, it goes to a 5. And in zone E, it goes to a 3. Now, you don't get you can kind of pick, right? But there's certain eligibility requirements in there. So for a zone A, you need to, in order to be eligible for it, you need to be between 17 months and 6 years of your active duty commitment. Zone B is 6 years to 10 years. What that means is that if you're at year 9, you're eligible for the zone B. If you're at year 7, because the way your enlistment's lined up, or maybe you did an extension or something like that, you're going to be zone B. If you're at 4 years, then you're going to be in a zone A. That's how that is kind of calculated. So zone C is 10 years to 14 years of total active military service, or total Air Force military service. And in a zone E is 18 years to 20 years. Now, there is a zone F, but who knows what it's going to look like by the time you get to a zone F. But your zone F is for those that are 20 years and beyond. And there's other kind of stipulations with that. It's 20 years and beyond. We call it the devil's money. but it's a minimum of 3 years and a 5 years max commitment that'll take you to 23 years or 25 years. But like I said, who knows what that's going to look like by the time you get to that point, which is kind of why I'm not really talking about it. All right. So each of these, zones, or each of these SRBs, or selective retention bonuses for each of these career fields, they're just designed to keep people in and, incentivize that. And honestly, it's a good thing. I capitalize on it on each and every one of my reenlistments. And it's a fantastic tool, and I highly recommend it. So let's do some calculations on the way one of these would kind of work. Let me close that out. And then I'm going to go to, sorry, I'm swapping screens here. Let's go to this. Okay, so this is the 2025 pay chart. And let's pick, sorry, I got a camera in my way so I can't see. So let's pick over 4 years, and E5 is 3,517. All right, so we're going to do that. Let me close this out, bust out the calculator. All this screen switching, it's crazy. All right. Oh, it works. Look at that. All right, so we said 35. So we said 3517. That multiplier was a 7 times, and this is going to be for how many years you reenlist for. This third variable in the equation. So if you're at 4 years, and this is where you got to think about it, right? If you're at 4 years, does it make sense to reenlist for 5 years? Does it make sense to reenlist for 4 years? Does it make sense to try and align your reenlistments up with deployments? Yes, the answer to that is yes, but not at the detriment of missing, taking it too far and missing your zone. So because you can't, if you've already crossed in past 6 years, you are no longer eligible for zone A. You're eligible for zone B. So you have lost out. So you need to time it correctly, or time it to where you get a zone A, B, C, and an E. So let's just say that at 4 years as a staff sergeant in E5, we got the multiplier of 7 because we're going zone A, that we're going to go for 4 years. 98,476 is what you can expect to get. Now, that's also not tax-free. If you're stateside, or you're in a non-combat zone, or a location that is not tax-free, then you will get taxed on that, which, tax is theft, but whatever. If you can align it up with a deployment or a tax-free, then that is ideal, because you will get that entire amount tax-free. And the way this goes is, say it's just, call it 98,000, just to keep it easy, right? 98,000 divided by 2. So you get 49 grand in a lump sum right off the bat. And then the subsequent years after that. So what did we say? We went 4 years, right? So after that, you'll get 12,000 ish a year at the same time that you reenlisted. So if you reenlisted in August, you'll get that lump sum right away, that 49K, and then every August until the end of that specific contract, you'll get an additional 12K until that's up, and then you'll have to reenlist again or extend or whatever. Now, there's a couple different, let me hit this real quick because this is important. There used to be there used to be a cap of $90,000 per reenlistment, and a lifetime cap of, there's like 226,000. Being a lifetime meaning even after all of your zones, even though you're eligible, the Air Force and by law you couldn't receive more than, I don't know, I think it was like 256 or something like that grand. That has now been lifted. So the max per zone is 180K throughout your lifetime, though. So if you were to reenlist in zone A, B, C, and E, and F, and it cannot exceed 360K. That is the lifetime cap that's set by law. That is not an Air Force policy or anything like that. That is by law. They cannot give you more than 360. So there's a couple different calculations that you got to have in there, right? You got to have your max per zone. You got to have your lifetime max. You got to start thinking about, where can I get it tax-free if I can get into a tax-free zone? Where, timing wise, because there's certain things that will happen in your career that you need certain retainability for. It's called an ADSC, active duty service commitment. Certain schools that you go to will require you to have a certain amount of retainability. Assignments will have a certain amount of retainability you need. If you are going to transfer your Montgomery GI post 9/11 bill to your spouse or your kids, that's going to incur an active duty service commitment. So for me, like, I knew that going in, but I didn't want to, like, I always, for me, and I recommend this as well, for that transfer of your GI benefits, I would always kind of keep that in your hip pocket. Don't play that early on, because as you get further on in your career, the chances to re-enlist in a tax-free zone might be few and far between. At least that's what I experienced based off of GWAT and what we were going with. And at the tail end, deployments were becoming less and less, and that tax-free was becoming less and less. So I used it to force a re-enlistment so that I could get tax-free and a bonus. So that's what I did. And that's what a lot of people do. So don't think that you need to transfer those GI benefits early on. You can do it later on and keep it in your hip pocket, and just in case you need to. Let's see, what else on these? That's pretty much it. The biggest thing about it is this is a great incentive for not just the Air Force Special Warfare career fields to be able to capitalize on this, but all of the ones that listed. They have added even more onto that selective retention bonus list for different jobs to get that. And it's fantastic. And I think we need to do more of it. But at the same time, you guys need to do, when you do get these bonuses, be smart with it. And I know I'm going to sound like a boomer and all that kind of stuff. Do not go out and buy a freaking Dodge Charger or a V6 Mustang or Camaro with 48% interest rate. Like, that is insane. It's, yes, if we start talking about 98 grand, that is a lot of money, but it can get pissed down the drain really fast. So be smart with it. Other than that, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us a review. Check us out over on ONESREADY.com. We appreciate you joining us, and hopefully me coughing in your ear wasn't too bad and you were actually able to understand me. All right, out here. Later.